Hello and welcome to another Charity Toolkit video by Andy Best. Today I'm going to demonstrate the brand new WordPress Gravity Forms to Donorfy integration. This is a new plugin that I've developed. When you install the plugin and activate it in your WordPress instance, you'll find that in Gravity Forms settings, a new tab gets appended, a Donorfy tab. And that's going to require you enter your API key and your Donorfy access key. That's your API permission password. Save those settings, and then that makes Gravity Forms globally aware of the Donorfy integration. Then when you come to build your forms in turn, again, they'll have under their settings a new Donorfy tab. This is the Donorfy mapping tab. Two fields here. The first is a checkbox. We need you to enable field mapping per form. So any form that you want to report to Donorfy, to transmit its data to Donorfy, you need to enable it on a per form basis, and that stops Donorfy getting flooded with all the forms and submissions site-wide. And we also require you elect a default Donorfy campaign in this field here. So Donorfy will create things like activities and gift aid declarations and recruitment campaign and data and such that are campaign centric, but without that piece of data, quite a lot of the API integration fails. So by sticking a default into here, we ensure that the smooth transition of all the data, regardless of the ultimate campaign source. I'll get more onto that in a moment. So for the form itself, in the form composer, you would build your Gravity form the same way that you normally would, field by field, assigning your required field status, your mandatory status, your options for the drop downs, and so on and so on. And when you've put the form together, have a look over at the Advanced tab on the right hand side for any one of your fields. You'll find now a Donorfy mapping field set. Now what this does is it presents to us a selection list of all of the potential mappings into Donorfy that we could use. So as you'll see, I've pre-populated these already. For the first name field, we're looking for first name as the mapping, which makes sense. Last name, likewise, last name. Address line 1, address line 2, and so on. So you would give each one of the fields that you want to transport to Donorfy and map to Donorfy, you'd select its mapping from that list. We've got a couple of hidden fields in here and these obviously won't turn up on the user's side, but it's how we can get some extra data across for our activities. So this field is an activity field. It's of the mapping activity type. And then here we have the default value, which in this instance is order. This form is about placing orders for free book distribution. And then for a second hidden field here, the book in question, that's been mapped to the activity notes. It could well, though, be appended to, mapped to code 1, code 2, whatever you like. Any one of those activity pertinent fields are available for mapping as well. Whoops. Default value, again, the name of the book in question will be stored there. So these are hidden fields. They're not, however, hidden fields. Your add fields in Gravity Forms area does have a hidden field type, which if I just drag one into here as an example, this is a hidden field. The data in this field can only be a default value, and so I can only fill that out, and that will push through. However, you'll notice that the native hidden fields don't return the Donorfy mapping tool. The way Gravity Forms is built is it doesn't support that piece of information against the hidden field. So this is not what you need to do if you want hidden information through on your forms. What you want to do instead is take any other sort of field type. In this case, we've gone for single line of text fields. And down here under the Advanced tab again, set its visibility to hidden. And then that does bring the Donorfy mapping tool into this field as well as the default value. This particular field makes use of some bespoke work as well. So this is not native to the plugin. This has been built on top of the plugin for this particular client. Would you like to make an optional donation, and how much would you like that donation to be? The reason why this is bespoke is that this particular client has a gift basket system built into WooCommerce already, and we're going to tap into that using the Gravity form. So here's the form in question. This is it. I've pre-populated it for ease, but I filled out all of these fields, and I am going to opt in to the donation, and I'd like that to be £10. And I'm now going to request my free book. Now remember, we've got hidden fields in here that will populate Donorfy with that book request, which book it was, and so on. Because I've opted in to that optional donation for £10, the return message I get is not the default confirmation message. It's this message, that the confirmation that the donation's in the basket, which if I click that now we can visit, and there it is. We've got a £10 general fund donation sitting there ready to process through WooCommerce. So this integration is not only tapped into Donorfy, we're also leveraging WooCommerce here as well. Let's take a look at Donorfy then. So on the Donorfy side, Steve Jobs presently doesn't exist. Let's have another look for him. There he is. And on his record here, we now have his address, his name and title. On his timeline, of course, is the order we just processed. So that was activity type of order. Name of book here, I didn't fill that out, so that is the default text there. It's come through on the general campaign. Yep, so that activity has come through as a record of that Gravity Forms submission. Of course, you've still got the submission data over in WordPress if you needed to do more with that or report against that differently. But you know, Donorfy now knows who this constituent is and has captured their order request as well. I've got a couple of additional examples from other charities I've built this for. So we've got another form here, another test form queued up again to Steve Jobs. This leverages the same. I was just checking address isn't mandatory here. It doesn't look like it is. This is making use of the same or similar additional donation logic. So I'm going to opt in for yes. I'm going to make this one a one-off. I've got the option here, and I'm going to make this one £20. Here you're going to watch me spectacularly fail to pass this because they always seem to disagree with my select. For instance, there is a tiny car there, but I bet if I opt that in, it's going to complain. Here we go. This doesn't have a WooCommerce tie-in for the donation. What this actually has is a native Donorfy widget integration, which I've built for this client previously. So the fact that I'm opting in for a one-off £10 donation now, £20, I beg your pardon, has taken me through to their otherwise static organic donation form, which bears this message: we've received your form submission and welcome your donation. And all of the data we just captured in that Gravity form is already pulled through to here. So I don't need to fill all this out again. I quite simply need to come down now and make my donation, and then that goes through to Donorfy via the widget that's already built here. So this widget was long-standing. It's been taking in donations for I don't know, a year or two now, but we've been able to tap into it off the back of that custom Gravity Forms script, which is, you know, very cool. It ties up the flow nicely. A couple other quick examples. Sobel House Hospice, another client of mine, they have a gift aid declaration form built in Gravity Forms. It captures the salient data needed for generating a gift aid declaration, including the date, and then when we submit this, that goes through to Donorfy and creates the gift aid declaration on the record. And it automatically does the 4 years backdating, the 100 years look into the future, the start date based on this date, and so on and so on. And Sobo House are also using a Gravity form here for ticket registration for their winter walk event. So again, each one of these fields is being mapped in that Gravity Forms integration to Donorfy, including an activity here looking at how did you hear about us. Comms preferences are being assigned here. We're building up a accumulation of ticket prices. Wanted to buy a couple of tickets here. The custom donation element is in here as well. That operates separately from the card payment. So the card payment here pertains to the tickets being purchased. The optional donation gets added on top. That's my total. When I pay now, I will see in Donorfy two separate transactions, one pertaining to these tickets, and there is a breakdown of the quantities and the ticket types in the transaction comment, and then a second transaction pertaining to the optional donation that's on there as well. Okay, so Gravity Forms integration is ready to go. Please get in touch if that sounds like it's something you could benefit from.